Hey, this is the Boston Celtics newsfeed. You're listening to Celtics Roundtable. We are powered by CLNS Radio. I'm Matt Igna alongside my brother Jonathan and Zaire here to do Celtics power rankings. And at my number one spot, oh no, it's Devin Booker. 70 points against the Celtics. Jay Crowder was pissed. Gerald Green was talking to Earl Watson as well. Zaire, I know you got a hot take on the Celtics, perhaps bitterness.
Well, you know what? I really don't think it was about the Celtics' bitterness. I mean, they're out there playing. That's one thing. I think it's like the media and everybody going crazy about the coach calling timeouts and all of that. I think it's just not a big deal. I think people look to make things bigger than what they are. The guy scored 70 points in an NBA game. However way he did it, it's hard to score 70 points in a JV basketball game, let alone an NBA game. So let the guy have it. He's 20 years old. He's a rookie. The team is not that good. They're not playing for much of anything. Let them enjoy it. And the fans that did enjoy it, good for them, because sometimes it's not anything to enjoy at this point of the season. You're at the end of the year. It's not, a lot of teams, some teams are phoning it in. Just let people enjoy what they do. And this guy scored 70 points. This is something he's going to be able to have the rest of his life. These days, everybody wants to be outraged about everything. They just go too far with stuff, man. So let the kid enjoy his moment.
Well, I can see at least why the Celtics were a little upset. It's a little embarrassing when a guy scores 70 points on you, even if it comes in a win. And I could see, like Devin Booker said, yeah, he understood why some of the Celtics were pissed because the Suns were just kind of trying to run up the score, and that's not really basketball. Jonathan, what do you think about this?
I mean, if you don't want him to run up the score, do something about it. You have complete control over this. Play some defense. I just don't get why the Celtics players like Jay Crowder and Gerald Green are mad at the Suns coaching staff or even the Celtics fans. Like, don't blame the Suns. Blame yourselves. You helped Devin Booker get 70. How many times did they bail him out with careless reach-in fouls in the fourth? Like, rule number one on defense, you don't foul the jump shooter, Jay Crowder. And furthermore, Jay, please lay off the social media because Booker's still torching you hours after the game.
I agree, man.
It's just not a good look. Like, he's 20 years old. He scored 70 points in a game where he, only took 4 threes? Like, that's awesome. We got to witness the best of both worlds. The Celtics had a comfortable lead, never threatened. They got the W. Isaiah had a great game, whatever. We also saw a 20-year-old score 70 points. Like, that's what we're going to remember. Just appreciate it a little bit. I know you're pissed, but move on, Jay. Stay off the social media. One more time.
It was absolutely fun to watch and to think about it. Once again, like you just said, the Celtics were winning. Like, not at one moment did I think, okay, we're in trouble. No, they were winning this basketball game. And, I mean, there's just so much more that we should be focusing on in general because this team is in a great place and has an opportunity right now. No one's even thinking really about this. This team has an opportunity to win the Eastern Conference this year. They have an opportunity to do that. Will it happen? We don't know, but it can happen, and that's what we should be focusing on. And people want the Suns to be above calling timeouts. Well, I want the Celtics media and those complaining and the players who are complaining to be above worrying about this insignificant game right here, in a sense, and worrying about the big picture of possibly making it to the NBA Finals.
Well, Brad Stevens thought it was significant. He was pretty upset with the Celtics' inability to defend Booker and the inability to play 48 minutes of basketball, of quality basketball. He reiterated it again last night that the Celtics are not as good as their record. So he thought it was significant. I was not rooting for Devin Booker to keep scoring. I was hoping the Celtics would stop him.
Even when it was like 52, 55, 57, and all the way up, you were still like, oh, we got to stop him now. Like, the game was over.
Yeah, when he got to like 60, I'm rooting him on. I'm like, get 70. Go ahead, kid. Actually, and here's the thing. This is where I disagree with Brad Stevens. And yes, Brad Stevens knows more about basketball than I probably ever will. But here's the deal about Brad Stevens. Okay, listen. Think about what your team did. Okay, one guy scored 70 points. No one else scored anything. Like, the next guy to him had 11. Okay, the rest of the team had 50-something points. The rest of the team could not get anything off that night.
They scored 120 points. The Celtics needed 130 to win.
I don't have a problem with it right now because it's the Phoenix Suns. It's a late season game. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Get the W. I don't care how many points you got to score. Get the W. And they got the W, so I'm not tripping on that because other than this, they've been playing great defense. It's just one night. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's an epidemic. We were just talking. Everybody's been talking all week about how their defense has improved so much. Yeah, they just had one night, and it took a guy to score 70 points to do it. So yeah, I mean, it's no big deal, man. It's the Suns. We won't be talking about this game come April or
We're talking
May.
about that performance. 20 years old. You know, it seems like the defense and rebounding have been fixed for the most part. Like, obviously, the right matchup, the Celtics will still be an underdog in the battle of the boards and that kind of thing. But they're just so consistently inconsistent, and it's been the whole season. Do they have a blowout loss or a blowout win on the season yet?
They have a few. They have a few, sure, but not as many as last year for sure.
I mean, after that first
it's
quarter,
a weakness, but they usually hold on. I think they've blown a handful of late leads this year.
Yeah.
It happens.
It shouldn't be a big concern. We are one of the best crunch time teams in basketball. And
right, that's the other side of the coin, right? That's another way to look at it.
Today's Roundtable podcast is being brought to you by the SeatGeek ticketing app. I actually just used SeatGeek just yesterday to purchase some Boston Celtics Miami Heat tickets for this upcoming Sunday, and it was by far the easiest ticket purchasing experience I've had. If you're looking for some Boston Celtics playoff tickets, SeatGeek is the smartest and easiest way to get to the game. With SeatGeek's seamless mobile experience, you can buy and sell tickets in just 2 taps. And it doesn't end with just the Celtics or any other playoff game. SeatGeek also has plenty of concerts, comedy, and theater tickets available too, and it's all fully guaranteed. Listeners to CLNS Radio can support this production and get a $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase. Here's how. Download the free SeatGeek app, go to the Settings tab, and click Add a Promo Code and enter promo code CELTSNEWS, all one word. And SeatGeek will send you $20 after you've made your first ticket purchase. Download the free SeatGeek app and enter the promo code CELTSNEWS today.
What a basketball night. Even bigger than that was perhaps the Sweet 16 game between Florida and Kentucky with multiple running threes. But
Florida,
more relevant,
Wisconsin.
Yes, Florida with, what'd I say?
Florida, Kentucky.
I'm getting ahead of myself. So more relevant.
Okay, it was a big basketball day.
More relevant for the Celtics was the UCLA-Kentucky game where a lot of people think Lonzo Ball is perhaps the best prospect in the NBA draft, but not his greatest game in a loss against Kentucky for the second time, I thought, and this time was more decisive. Outplayed by De'Aaron Fox. Zaire, you've been on take Lonzo Ball #1 train. Would one game dissuade you or cause you to have a little bit more concern? Are you backing off that even just a little bit?
Absolutely not.
How'd I know that?
You know, it's a bad game, you know, and that's what guys have. I watched that game last night. My brother-in-law, we all in different cities. My brother-in-law was checking it out. We were texting about it. The best man at my wedding, he's a big Kentucky fan. We were, texting about it. And, it's a bad game. We've seen it happen time and time again where a great college star finishes on a sour note. And unfortunately, he finished on a sour note, but this was a great year. He showed, even in that game, it was certain plays when you look and you go, man, only this guy can make this play. Where I remember this one play we drove to the basket and he found a 3-point shooter, and it's like, how did he see that guy?
The one he drove baseline?
Yeah. It was, and he's in the air, and it was just, it's like only he's making those plays right now, and seeing Magic Johnson in the stands watching, and it's like, this guy has something, man, and no, if he's available and the Celtics don't draft him, I think it's a mistake. I think this guy is one of those guys that you build a franchise with, and the Celtics will. He's a perfect fit. If we can have this Al Horford next year, along with Lonzo Ball, along with Isaiah Thomas, along with Avery Bradley, man, the IQ is just through the roof if you have that on this team, man.
At least I think this game sort of highlighted some of his weaknesses. We know his strengths, that he's got ridiculous range and that he's like a generational type of passer. But if his jump shot's not falling in the half court, he's not the best pick and roll option at this point, which is, the most common play for a lead ball handler. He just, he doesn't get to the line a ton. He doesn't get in the paint a ton. He has trouble shooting off the dribble going to his right. If he does it at all, he'll often opt to go right and then do like a step back going back the other way to shoot it. So, there are some kinks that he has to work out on his game. I'm still betting on him just because I just think he's such a smart player and he's so young that he's got room to improve. But, I don't think that those concerns should necessarily be glossed over. De'Aaron Fox clearly came to play against him, scored 39 points. I don't know what UCLA's defense was doing. It was basically Swiss cheese out there. But back to Ball. I still don't have him above Fultz on my personal big board, who I'm just a little bit more confident about his complete set of skills. But I wonder that if Ball has a little bit, trouble, getting into the teeth of the D on a pick and roll. He's much better in transition, in my opinion. He's got the size that you could play him off ball. He's got the shooting ability that you could play him off ball. And yeah, he can run the point guard no problem, but if you slot him next to Isaiah Thomas, I think that I almost like Isaiah Thomas more as the on-ball option there.
Well, I think. I'm sorry.
It's gonna take some time. I mean, he's not the defender. If you're throwing out Isaiah Thomas and Lonzo Ball, that's a weak defensive backcourt. He's 19 years old. He's not a perfect player by any means, but he's going to have to work on this. I mean, yes, De'Aaron Fox is extremely athletic, but every night in the NBA he'll be playing an extremely athletic point guard. So he'll have to figure it out, and I think he will. I mean, the things that make him special are his vision, he just makes every guy on his team better, and he's not a liability on shooting. Like the guys that mostly distribute the way he does, the knock on them is they don't have a jump shot. But Lonzo Ball has a jump shot. Whether he'll be able to get it off, people question, but I think he's talented enough, has the work ethic, and it'll come to him. I mean, he's 19 years old. For one game, you don't judge someone on one game when they put a whole season of work. Yeah, there's some flaws, but he'll figure it out.
He can do so much. Yeah, he can use a few more pounds. But other than that, I just think this guy can contribute right away. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be an all-star next year, but I think that he can be on this team and play some minutes and help and put some other people where they belong in the D-League.
Is that a Terry Rozier knock?
Yep.
Very cool.
Oh, man. Well,
no, he's much better than Terry Rozier already. I don't think there's any question about that. The question is, and we know he's got great upside. The question is, how likely is he to hit it? And he's got to work out some of the kinks in his game, for sure. And I think a large part of that is getting stronger. He's a good athlete, but he's not like a jitterbug at the point guard position. He's going to have to find other ways to get into the teeth of the D if he wants to be, a pick and roll point guard in the half court. Because right now he's still a little bit away from that, and you can see it a little bit easier with a guy like Fultz or even De'Aaron Fox or Dennis Smith.
Even in his worst game, you could just see the vision and just.
Oh yeah, no, he's really good. He's still really good.
Yeah,
he got 8 assists, man. All right, do we have anything else to talk about?
I think De'Aaron Fox should deserve to get a little shout out on this podcast. No.
Yeah, he can get anywhere he wants. That's my favorite thing about him. But I think very clearly that the defense that UCLA plays is not going to be the same defense he's going to face in the NBA. I mean, that was pretty pathetic, to be honest.
It was on both ends. On both ends, towards the end of the game, it was open layup after open layup. It was pretty strange.
I don't think there's any chance the Celtics draft him with a top 4 pick. But
no,
I like him. I think that he could get to an all-star status, but it's predicated on him hitting a jumper.
Yeah, and I mean, for the Celtics, his teammate Malik Monk can shoot. Who's the higher prospect in your mind, Zaire?
I saw both of them play in person too. I guess it would be Monk, but either way, I want the Celtics to stay away from both of those guys. Just grab ball and let's go with Mr. Zizic and let's have a great year next year.
Zaire is just going to wish Lonzo Ball to the Celtics, just like LeVar Ball's going to wish Lonzo to the Lakers. We'll see who wins out. I have Monk ahead of Fox too. I think Fox is the better player. I think he's more important for Kentucky, and I don't think it's actually particularly close. But if you like Devin Booker, Malik Monk is a very similar prospect. He's actually probably a better prospect. Devin Booker went late lottery. Monk's probably going to go in the middle of it. All right, that'll do it here at Celtics Roundtable on the Boston Celtics newsfeed. We want to thank you for tuning in this week. We're going to be back Monday, we're going to have a recording session after the Celtics take on the Heat on Sunday at 6 p.m. Follow us on Twitter at CLNS Roundtable. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, the Boston Celtics newsfeed. We really appreciate that. We'll see you next time.